Bloomfield's dedicated update show. Events, businesses, and people. Anything and anyone causing a ripple in the community. And now, let's dive in to the Splash Live.
Splash Live, Dave Scott on remote in northern Michigan today, but this show is all about West Bloomfield and our area. You can rest assured of that. It's awful good to be with you on this very, very busy Friday here at Civic Center TV. Thank you very much for joining us. Of course, Splash Live Party, not 90 minutes of live local television each and every day. Starts out with the Splash Live, and then we transition over to the MegaCast. Tyler Keefe is standing by. He'll be here at 10. I'm here until then. An hour and a half of live local television just for you right here on Civic Center TV. Very easy to watch all of our programs. Of course, you can tune in on cable on Comcast, Channel 15. Channel 99 on AT&T is where you can watch us, of course. You can also watch us on CivicCenterTV.com. Great place to go right on our website because you can see our on-demand area, you can see our program guide, and you can always watch all of our programming entirely live. It's all right there on CivicCenterTV.com. We're also streaming today on Facebook, and we're streaming over on YouTube live as well. Just look for Civic Center TV at either one of those locations. And then, of course, we're on radio each and every day in the greater West Bloomfield area. And all you got to do is go to 89.3 FM, and you'll be able to tune in and check out the show. So all those opportunities for you to check out our little old program right here on Civic Center TV. So first of all, let's take a look at the weather around the area. And it really isn't going to be too bad. We're going to have some rain showers in the area today, 71 degrees. But for the most part, sunshine, too. More of the rain is actually going to get here tomorrow. It's going to warm up to about 83 degrees tomorrow and then 84 on Sunday. So some intermittent rain over the weekend and a nice day today. Now, I'm up in Charlevoix, Michigan today, and I can tell you that all the smoke that we were getting from Canada isn't in our area in West Bloomfield. It's all up here. Very smoky in northern Michigan if you happen to be heading to northern Michigan this weekend for a nice outing, but not so bad back at home. Just kind of depends on where the wind's blowing. So we could have some more of those bad atmospheric days coming up here in the area, and that's what they've got today up in northern Michigan. So yesterday was an incredible day for us here on Civic Center TV. We had an opportunity to debut a national program that airs primarily on the Discovery Channel, but we had the world premiere right here in little old Civic Center TV and all of our outlets, and that's because this show is shot in West Bloomfield. It featured Mike McKinstry, who is known as the Basquatch Hunter. It's his show, and his guest was the chief chef and instructor at Oakland Community College of their culinary program, and that's none other than Doug Gans. They were featured on that show last night. It was a great show put together by Mike with Doug. They did some fishing in Orchard Lake and then went into the restaurant and into the kitchen, deep into the back end of the kitchen at Orchard Lake Country Club, and they exchanged, some information, a little bit about fishing, a little bit about cooking. We talked to Doug yesterday in the program. It's great to get his insights and learn about everything he's doing. And then the premiere last night at 6. Now, earlier in the week, we had an opportunity to talk to Mike McKinstry, and we're going to replay that interview for you a little bit later on the program. Mike is a great guy. Again, excuse me, again, has a nationally syndicated show, and he shoots it right here in West Bloomfield. So very cool that we had that going on. He's been a great guy in the community, working with kids and much more, and we will hear from him a little bit later on in the show. We have a lot of information and news going on in our community, but as you can see, I need a quick drink of water. So we're going to take a quick break. I'll get that, and we'll be back with more. Good morning. You're watching The Splash Live.
We'll be right back with The Splash Live.
Looking for a midweek meal? Keep the bag lunch at home this summer and enjoy street food in your neighborhood with Food Truck Tuesdays. Enjoy cuisine from around Michigan outside the WB Parks and Recreation Activity Center. with a different vendor every Tuesday, like the Potato Bar on June 27th. All summer, every Tuesday, Food Truck Tuesday. This community update from Civic Center TV and 89.3 Lakes FM.
Watch Civic Center TV with our brand new live captions. To turn on live captions, go to civiccentertv.com and click Watch Live. In your web browser, click on the Options tab in the top right. Switch on live captions to heighten your enjoyment of our local programming. Thank you so much for watching Civic Center TV. And now, back to the Splash, live.
Well, good morning and welcome back to the Splash Live. Dave Scott here on Civic Center TV. Tyler Keefe in a little bit this morning. Part of our 90 minutes of local and live television, the Splash Live, and the MegaCast. Well, our West Bloomfield Chamber and the Lakes Area Chamber of Commerce got together this week, and they had a big grand opening. That's one of the cool things that chambers do. They got out the big, you've seen it, those big huge scissors. Don't really cut anything, but they look cool. And a ribbon, but it's all very festive and a great way to welcome a new business into the area where somebody has moved. That was the case yesterday as Karen Faith LLC, the grand opening happened. Karen's focus is our senior population. She does a great job with them, offering dementia support, placement services, care coordination, and placement advocacy. I can tell you it's a handful to get through all that, and it's really good to have somebody that can help with all the business affairs and the mechanics, and also provide caregiver support and counseling. So congratulations to Karen Faith LLC, and really cool to see all the people that made it there yesterday. So, big story, and I think it's today's edition, but it was easy to find today in the Detroit News, a story written by Angelique Shigalis, hopefully I pronounced her name correctly, about our own, and when I say our own, West Bloomfield High School's own Samaj Morgan. Samaj graduated last year from West Bloomfield, was one of our best star football players. He's off now to the University of Michigan, and he's going to be making big news. We've sent a number of people from West Bloomfield to one of the best programs in the nation over there at U of M, and Samaj is the next one. So we've sent our coaches, our best players, and here's another one, Samaj Morgan going to U of M. But Samaj's story is a little bit more than football. This is an outstanding young man, and that is the subject of the story in the Detroit News, which I urge you to go read, that features the headline, Michigan freshman wide receiver earns respect on and off the field. And reading just a brief excerpt from the story, Michigan freshman receiver Samaj Morgan looked around the field at West Bloomfield High School last Saturday and saw a couple of hundred youngsters running and learning football drills as part of a camp he ran supporting his foundation. Morgan, who recently turned 18 and is a West Bloomfield High School graduate, created the Samaj Morgan Foundation to make charitable contributions and to work with children as well as adults that are in need. In May, he had his first Mother's Day give back and provided gift bags to mothers who lost their children. And last Sunday, at his first Father's Day gift back. Foundation is important to me, he says, because I get to give back and help people. This is Samaj Morgan. This is a kid who's just fresh out of high school, heading off to the University of Michigan, just making us proud. Now, certainly, he's an amazing wide receiver. We had the great pleasure, Tyler and I, of calling his name so often on Friday nights at the Swamp, during another amazing high school football game. And that's going to put him in the spotlight. But to have the insight and the thought and the care to be philanthropic at his age when, most of his peers aren't quite there yet. But it's just amazing. So great story. I recommend you take a look, read it in the Detroit News. It's there today, and we're going to try to get Samaj on, or at least members of his family, in the next couple of days. We'll talk to them next week, see how things are going as he heads up to U of M. Samaj, Donovan Edwards. It's going to be fun watching Michigan football. Even even for you Sparties from West Bloomfield, you're going to have to tune in. You're going to love it too. So big news over at the Orchard Lake Village City Hall. It's finally here, says the folks at Orchard Lake. The Orchard Lake Police Department building is there, and they're moving into their new station. Been construction going on there for quite a while. The move is expected to take a couple of days. They should be finishing it up today. They started yesterday. The administrative staff will be on hand. They do recommend at the Orchard Lake Police and anyone needing non-emergency services that they contact the West Bloomfield Police non-emergency number. And that number is 248 975 9200, 248 975 9200, and then an Orchard Lake police officer will be there to give you all the assistance. We'll do our best checking with Jerry McCallum out there at Orchard Lake early next week. I'll head out there with our cameras and give you a tour. Take a look at what's going on with the new construction at Orchard Lake City Hall. Speaking of construction, let's go down the road a little bit over to Keagle Harbor and take a look at the gazebo, the work going on at the gazebo at the Rose Sorter Park right behind City Hall. Getting a new roof and other things are going on back there. Now, luckily, according to the folks in Keagle Harbor, this is really good news for all of us because we're getting this work done and it's all getting paid for with a federal grant. So that couldn't be any better news. Nice improvements there. Isn't costing us locally a penny. So, nice friendly poster. We put this up yesterday, but I wanted to put it up one more time. And this is from Sally Wenzel, who is a member of the Environmental Commission, a member of the Parks and Rec Board in West Bloomfield, always concerned about our environment in the area. And she put this poster together, put it on Facebook. If you want a copy of it, we can get it out to you. But she says on Facebook that this is a friendly reminder that we have an environmental feature setback ordinance. I imagine in doing what she does, people show up and they didn't even know any of the rules before they went to do some work on their property that might be adjacent to wetlands in West Bloomfield. She reminds you, if your property abuts a wetland, and it could be a wide variety of different wetlands, then you are required to check in with the township for a permit before you do things like cutting massive amounts of trees or cutting any tree, removing plants of any kind, installing a patio. If you're on a lake, installing a seawall and other items. So you really do need to work with the township on these matters. It affects the environment, it affects your neighbors, it affects the wetlands and all of the species that live there. We want to make sure they're well taken care of. If you are part of a homeowners association or any other kind of organization that wants to help distribute the flyer, contact the people over at Town Hall and they will help you make it happen. I understand it was a rip-roaring day yesterday at Marshbank Park for the Kids Commotion concert. Hopefully you got out there, took your kids out there during the day. If you missed it, mark your calendar for Thursday, August 24th, as the next Kids Commotion concert will be going on. Now, for we adults who want to get out and rock and roll a little bit, concerts at Marshbank in the evening are going to be kicking off real soon. We've got a number of dates. They run in July this year, July 12th, July 19th, July 26th, and August 2nd, and they happen right after work. You want to get out of work a little early, head to the concert. Kicks off at 5:30, runs till 8:30. I've been at these concerts over the last couple of years. We have the beautiful hill and our own little mini amphitheater at Marshbank Park on the far side of Cass Lake, and it's absolutely incredible. It's a great place. It's kind of like a little mini Pine Knob DTE, little mini Meadowbrook, okay? We've got the nice hill. You get out there, spread your blanket, and then there's food trucks, there's beverages, and great entertainment from some really fine local bands. So we hope that you'll take an opportunity to get out there and engage in that. And the pickleball craze is national. It's happening everywhere and right here in West Bloomfield. Just want to let you know we have 4 dedicated outdoor pickleball courts now at Drake Sports Park, as well as 2 courts that are outlined in tennis courts, so you can play right there, tennis or pickleball at Drake and Keith Sports Park. So lots of opportunity, lots of pickleball programs, and if you are part of the pickleball national trend of everybody getting excited about it, you've got plenty of opportunity in West Bloomfield, and if you're not, it's a really good way to get out, get some exercise, and you don't really need to feel like you're an expert on day one. Just get out there, have some fun. So, as I mentioned at the top of the program, there's a national television show being produced right here in West Bloomfield. It's called The Basquatch Hunter, and the host of that show is going to join us when we return. We talked to him earlier in the week. We're going to play that back for you again. Couldn't be more thrilled to have this going on right in our neighborhood, and we've got that for you next right here on The Splash Live.
We'll be right back with The Splash Live.
Looking for a midweek meal? Keep the bag lunch at home this summer and enjoy street food in your neighborhood with Food Truck Tuesdays. Enjoy cuisine from around Michigan outside the WB Parks and Recreation's Activity Center with a different vendor every Tuesday, like the Potato Bar on June 27th. All summer, every Tuesday,
And now, back to The Splash Live.
Welcome to the Basquatch Hunter Fish Out of Water.
I've got a fish.
We share our love for fishing with our guests, and then we dive into their world and show off what they do. We both chased our dreams, but together we will chase our Basquatch.
Hosted by Mike McKinstry. The Basquatch Hunter. Fish out of water.
Welcome to the
I love it. I think we saw it once. It's probably good enough. Let's get to Mike. He's here right now and say good morning to Mike McKinstry, the Basquatch Hunter, West Bloomfield's own Mike McKinstry. Hey, Mike, how you doing today? Can't quite hear you. Do we have his audio, Jared? Okay, you there, Mike? Nope. Okay, there we go. Now we got you ahead with a button or two. Thank you very much for joining us here on Civic Center TV. Good to have you with us live.
Yeah, absolutely. It's great to be here.
Well, you know, I tell people all the time, there's so many people that live, grew up, work in our communities that are having a big impact right here at home and then certainly nationally, regionally, globally. Oh my gosh, you're huge on the Discovery Channel on YouTube, and it all happened from right here in West Bloomfield. You got to be thrilled with the way your life is going, Mike.
I mean, it's a lot of, first, thank you, but it's also a lot of payoffs. It's been a lot of work. We've been doing it for 7 years now, full time. So we film mostly right here in West Bloomfield. I love operating out of West Bloomfield and showing off our amazing township here too. So it's been one heck of a ride, but yeah, it's just incredible to see where it's came, and you know, all the hard work pays off.
Well, we got some big announcements, but before we get to that, I'm always curious how people make it to the big time, if you will, and do it from right here in our own community. You're doing this work here. You're competing with, you know, an entire industry of, you know, people that live in LA, that live in New York, that are connected, and somehow you made this thing happen in West Bloomfield. Tell us your story.
So I started out doing marketing for 13 years. I did promotional marketing for so long. And it was one of those things where I just didn't feel like I was fulfilled. Like I didn't feel like I was 100% happy with what I was doing. And I didn't think I was really passionate enough about my job anymore. So I started thinking about like, what really makes me happy? And what do I really want to do? Like, what are my goals? Like, you know, how do I really want to spend the rest of my life working, you know? And I realized that I was just working like most of us do. I was just working just enough to be able to afford to do my hobbies that I really was happy about on the weekends. Whether it's, you know, golf or fishing or whatever it is, that's what most of us do, is we work so we can afford to do what we really want to do on the weekends. So I was like, you know, if I took all of my experience that I've had my whole life, all my marketing and sales and, you know, all the stuff that I've done, And then I took my time and everything else and put it all into one thing that really made me happy. I wonder if I could make a living doing it. And I wasn't sure how to navigate that. There's no book on how to do that or anything. So I wasn't really sure on how to make that happen. But I decided to quit my job after doing it for so long. I was at the same office for 10 years. And I literally called one day and I said, hey, I'm probably not going to come in. I'm on the water right now with a client and we're having more fun than we are working. So I literally put my notice in right then and there, quit my job. I started a YouTube channel because I didn't know what to do, how to start it. Like I said, there's no book or manual. And I got into kayak fishing, and that's the craziest thing to me still. Like, fishing out of a kayak is so shocking to people, and it still is to me to this day. But I got rid of the bass boat, and I just wanted a kayak. I wanted something small that I could take out without anyone helping me. No gas, no fuel. I could go on these small lakes that don't, West Bloomfield has so many lakes. We have 24 lakes in our township. And there's so many lakes that don't allow boats or don't have boat launches. And I was like, man, if I had a kayak, I could get to that spot over there. I bet you there's some good fish over there, some good adventure, something that people haven't seen as much because there's no boats. And it literally was that easy where I was like, I found these areas and I wanted people to see how cool it was that I could now get to these areas. I wanted people to see what kayak fishing allowed me to do and allowed me to experience. So I started making YouTube videos about it. And before I knew it, these brands were reaching out to me and saying, hey, we love your content. We love how you're sharing this. We love your new approach to this. No one's doing this yet, especially in Michigan. There's like 3 people in Michigan that were like competitively kayak fishing at the time. And I was going to tournaments and there was like nobody represented. It was such a small thing in Michigan. And I was like, all right, I got in touch with everyone from around the country that was running these organizations. I'm like, I need to build this up in my area because people need to see how cool this is. I started working with local dealers. I started just doing all this groundwork and just, working crazy amount of time just trying to build this up. Before I knew it, our YouTube channel was taking off. These brands were recognizing it. People from all over the country are messaging me saying, hey, you got me into the sport. And I was like, oh my gosh. I was like, I'm making a difference here without even trying. Like, I'm making an impact here. And I feel like I have a responsibility now to make this bigger. And I need a bigger audience so I can impact more people. Nature and wildlife, and then we're like, all right, so our show doesn't fit into a category. It's what we do is we share. Give you a quick rundown, I guess. We share what other people also do to follow their dreams too in our show. So we film with, West Bloomfield firefighters. We film with local executive chefs. We film with WWE wrestlers and NASCAR drivers and comedians and radio hosts and country singers, a variety of people who also follow their dreams to do what they love to do for a living. And we kind of share what they do in my world and teach them how to fish. Then I go in their world and they teach me how to do what they do. So we've been able to just grow this platform. We've inspired so many people to try new things, get out, find adventures, and take a risk on themselves. And you know what? Get out and catch some fish, too. Right. Have some fun.
West Bloomfield's own Mike McKinstry, the Bass Squatch Hunter. Mike, we only got a couple of minutes here. Bass Squatch Hunter. No, that's cool, man. You're doing great. Next time we'll book an hour with you. Bass Squatch Hunter. Help me out with that one. Explain what that means and where that came from.
Yeah, so the term bass squatch, which I trademarked in 2015, I think it was one of those words where I always caught the biggest fish. I never caught the most fish. I always caught the biggest fish. And my buddy and I were watching a fishing show 2014, 2015, and this guy was like, look at this fish. It's huge. It's like a bass squatch, like a Sasquatch. And we looked at each other, and I was like, that's it. So now we use the term the Bass Squatch Hunter more of like hunting for your adventure, finding that one elusive adventure you haven't put on camera yet or people haven't seen, just like a Sasquatch.
All right, well, I salute you. It is so difficult. I'm an entrepreneur, and I talk to other entrepreneurs all the time. That day that you turn in your notice and you're on your own, it's a scary day, but for many of us, that is the best day of our lives. I congratulate you, and we're so glad that you make our community a big part of what you're doing, and that's why you've been recognized by everyone here locally, the West Bloomfield Township Board, and all of us. So thank you very much. And then our relationship, and I'm glad that we're spending time together today. I want to get to know you better, but our relationship, you've been great to Civic Center TV. So I understand that one of your programs that you debuted on our channel then became eligible for a regional Emmy, and bring us up to date on that if you would, Mike.
Yeah, so we aired our West Bloomfield fireman episode, actually, because it was all filmed locally. It was with a local hero here. and an amazing time, one of the best episodes. And we submitted it to the regional Emmys, and we were it's kind of like catching fish. Sometimes you catch, sometimes you're just fishing. So we threw the line out there, seeing if we would just get a nomination. There's no fishing show that's ever been nominated for an Emmy, no kayak fishing show, and especially in Michigan. So we were like, yeah, let's just throw it out there, see what happens. And we got the Emmy nomination. So we got nominated. We went to the Emmys the other day. It was incredible. We didn't win, but you know what? We won by being there. It was incredible.
Well, that's great. We have an Emmy-nominated show that's been on Civic Center TV, and that is produced by one of our local heroes, if you will, if you don't mind me saying that. So that is huge. And you're working on another episode right now that maybe will give us another swing at maybe an Emmy opportunity down the road with Doug Gans over at the Orchard Lake Country Club. Tell us what you're about, and you're going to give us the opportunity to debut that one on Civic Center TV as well.
Absolutely.
Awesome.
Yeah, that one. So we took Chef Doug, we took him out fishing and showed him how to catch fish out of a kayak right behind the Orchard Lake Country Club, actually in his own backyard. And then we went in his world, and he taught me how to be a chef and how to use really sharp knives. I actually cut myself pretty good on one of them, but I learned how it was like to run a kitchen, and it was an incredible episode. I can't wait for you guys to see that one.
So, what's left for you to do? What's next? Obviously, you're going to continue to build your franchise and what you're doing on television. But is there anything else that you might want to take a look down the road and think, well, this is something else I want to be doing with my time?
Yeah, absolutely. So I always tell people I play chess, not checkers. So I have like these moves that I've been putting in place for years there's so many things coming up. One big thing I'm super proud of, though, is I launched my first children's book series. We have 13 books total, but the first one is out, 2 is on the way. And that's right here. It's called The Adventures of Seth Squatch. And I do book readings all over the township and all over the state. And it's all about getting kids out of their comfort zone and meeting people that are different than them. Just like when our character Seth Squatch met his first human and learned how to fish. And it's a really cool series, but definitely that's in my future, doing more of those. We're working on, I have a board game as well for kids. And then, right here in West Bloomfield, I work with over 600 kids a year, teaching them how to fish at the kids camp. So there's a lot of things in the future that I'm working on with that. And of course, the show is growing. We're the first kayak fishing show on Discovery Channel. And we're going to keep on growing that platform.
Well, and kayaking in our area is huge. You really launched from an area that, I don't know that many people know it, but I've got a ton of friends that kayak, and our waters are great for kayaking in our inland lakes.
Absolutely. Some of the best fisheries. And it's funny, people are always like, oh, where are you going to tomorrow? I'm like, about 3 minutes down the road. I'm like, there's such amazing opportunities in West Bloomfield for fishing.
The people that I know, and I've never been a big fisherman, but quickly, the people that I know that are into fishing, it's obsessive. For me, it's aviation. For you, it's fishing. Fishing is all consuming, isn't it, Mike?
Yeah, it's not about just catching fish, and I always tell people that. It's getting on the water, finding your adventure, and just having that peace. And that's what most of my guests notice. They come out in the kayak for the first time, and whether they like fishing or not, they're always like, man, it's so cool to get out in a kayak and be part of nature and not be interrupting nature with loud noises or with oil and gas, and not being like obstructive to the natural way. Like, this is beautiful. And so it's the same idea. And we actually did an episode with a 1947 seaplane 2 seasons ago.
I saw that clip. I was going to ask you about that. Yeah, that's awesome.
We got to fish out of a seaplane, and that was pretty cool.
All right, well, very good. I got a couple other friends that have them, so if you ever want to do another episode like that, let me know. Mike, thank you so much. Good. It's just another great local story, and I love telling these local stories. That's really what we're all about. Thank you for making time for us in the last minute. Congratulations with your show and all of your accomplishments and everything you're doing for the community. So good to have you with us here.
Thank you very much, and thank you for all you guys do too to make it all possible.
All right, thank you very much, Mike. We got to go. That's it for the time for today. Thanks for watching. We'll see you Monday here on The Splash Live.
And tune in for The Splash Live. Get acquainted with people, places, and activities that are live, local, And for you, first thing in the morning, weekdays at 9:30 a.m. on our Civic Center TV YouTube page, or watch us live at Civic Center TV or on Facebook. The Splash Live, Greater West Bloomfield's live update show. What's happening around you? Hear about state events, businesses, and from the people behind them on the MegaCast, an hour-long TV, radio, and streaming show keeping you informed on the day-to-day news. Listen in on talks with volunteer groups, documentarians, and financial advisors, Monday to Friday with your host, Tyler Kieft. Catch the MegaCast weekdays from 10 a.m. to 11 on Civic Center TV, 89.3 Lakes FM, and streaming on mymytv.com.